Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. Funny, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Welcome to McKnight Tonight. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello and welcome to McKnight Tonight. I'm Rob McKnight. It is Wednesday the 13th of May 2026. I hope you've had a wonderful day. The weather here on the Gold Coast in Queensland has been cray-cray. We've had sun, we've had rain. It's like Melbourne, 4 seasons in one day. Now, as you know, if you're watching on YouTube, you've got to subscribe. You've got to hit that bell so you get notifications. And tonight, you've got to drop in a comment. I love hearing from everybody, so go to youtube.com/@McKnightTonight. But watching is not just enough. Tonight, you need to comment if you've never made a comment before. And I know there are more people watching than commenting because I see the ratios. So tonight, do yourself a favor. No, do me a favor and make a comment. And while you're at it, while I'm doing the plugs, we've got a new merch store. I haven't made up the promo yet, but just go to McKnightTonight.redbubble.com. McKnightTonight.redbubble.com. You can get the McKnight Tonight socks. I don't believe there are undies. People last night were asking for undies. I don't think we have those. You could snuggle in with McKnight Tonight underwears. McKnight Tonight undies will make your night a good night. Although, for the nudists, just wear the socks. That's like your undies, isn't it? But you can even, if there's a product there that hasn't been done, you can use the logos and artwork to design your own product. Let us know if you do that at McKnightTonight.redbubble.com. No, that's YouTube, but good try. McKnightTonight.redbubble.com. All right, that's what we've got in terms of plugs. Let's have a look at what we've got in terms of actual content, because tonight, a gay dad in West Hollywood punches a right-wing provocateur who tried to ambush his family on the street. Was it justified, or did he hand the other side exactly what they wanted? The proposed Trump Tower on the Gold Coast is dead. And I'll tell you what, I called it. We'll roll the tape. In Rob's rant, a dog attack on my daughter and our dog, involving an owner who clearly doesn't understand what a leash is for. And I sit down with one of Australia's most beloved entertainers, Normie Rowe. He's still performing, still touring, and still as sharp as ever. Okay, let's get into our hot topics. Debate is raging in the US right now over the violent actions of a gay dad against right-wing personality Ryley Niemi. Niemi and his team approached a same-sex couple carrying an infant. Now, they claimed to be from CNN, which was a lie, and wanted to interview the couple. Here's the edited video posted by Niemi.
I'm actually concerned for your baby's safety.
I'm concerned for you.
We are asking you to leave.
Hey! Fucker! No! Is this your guys' son or daughter? Or?
Son.
Awesome. And are you guys a couple?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So, have you ever heard about the statistics coming out that gay men are statistically much more likely to commit child molestation?
No.
You've never heard about that
Sounds
before?
crazy. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Don't you think it's weird that you guys have a child, but neither of you are a woman?
No.
You don't think that's weird?
No.
So you had a surrogate? You paid a woman $50,000 to be pregnant
Who are you?
and build an
dude?
emotional
Fuck
connection
off.
to a baby?
I'm gonna fucking kick your ass.
Hey, don't take my mic, dude.
Fuck you.
Guess what? You guys are together. You all deserve to be killed. For doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Killed.
Boom, 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 boom. You all deserve to be shot in the fucking head.
Pretty outrageous stuff, and I'm not talking about the punches thrown, but I'll get to that in a sec. As you can see, the video has been heavily edited. The couple told Weehoo Times Niemi called them gay slurs during the exchange, which were cut out. The father who threw the punch, David Vulin, was charged with a felony for vandalism with loss valued equal or greater than $400. Niemi has described the incident as an attack and claimed a camera valued at $2,500 was damaged. Now, that's a claim denied by the couple. And just for the record, that talking point that homosexual men are statistically more likely to be child molesters, well, it's simply false. According to stopabusecampaign.org, researchers have studied the question of homosexual men being more likely to sexually abuse children, as well as the question of homosexual men being sexually attracted to boys. In a 1-year period at a major child abuse centre, less than 1% of the abusers who were identified were in a homosexual relationship. But that's besides the point. There's no actual research to suggest that homosexual men are more likely to be child abusers. It is a trope that is an outrageous slur. And when you approach a couple to humiliate them and have a go at their lifestyle, not only humiliate them, essentially call them child molesters and then throw gay slurs at them, which you obviously felt, if what they are saying is true, you obviously felt it didn't make you look good, so you cut them out. You've got everything that's coming to you. These people think they can go up to anyone and say, well, I've got a camera, I'm doing a prank, I'm making my point. You have to respect me. But I can insult you, I can scare you, but I shouldn't have any consequences. Well, this guy got consequences, and I am all for it. You come to me, you start calling me a child molester? Well, we'll see what happens next. Because that was simply outrageous. These are two men going about their business. They're not infringing on any rights that you have. You lied to them by saying you were from CNN. That's according to their statements. So you've gone up, you've said you're from CNN, you've started interviewing them, and you've completely started attacking them verbally. Well, sometimes a verbal retort is not enough. What you did here was simply outrageous. And I don't care that the guy punched you. You got off lightly as far as I'm concerned. This is nothing but outrageous. And I've had enough of it. Pranksters deserve everything they get. Everything they get. They think they can go up and just be mean and rude and horrible to people. Well, when people fight back, you have to suffer those consequences. The guy doing the interview is not a victim here. He is, and the word we used was provocateur. He provoked this. He egged it on. Now, it's probably helped his case and saying, I was attacked for sharing my views. No, you weren't. You went under false pretenses and you attacked these people. I just think it's outrageous. You know, I think the other thing that gets me is that it's one thing to have a difference of opinion, but this wasn't about that. This was about demeaning these people, this gay couple. And that's the thing I just find so shocking. We can all have different views, but that crossed a line. It just crossed a line. Let me know your thoughts at youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. As I said, if you've never commented before, tonight's your night. We've got seriously, Amanda, we've got such a great community on YouTube that if you go in there and become part of this community, they don't all agree with each other, but it's a nice community where they support each other. They all get there and say hello before the show. They like to know what each other's doing. It is a whole community there. It's worth your while taking part, and they welcome all newcomers. So go on, make a comment. Just say hi. They'll all say hi back. All right, let's move on, because I've got to tell you today, you could have knocked me down with a feather this morning when news came through the proposed Trump Tower on the Gold Coast was not going ahead. Now, the developer behind the $1.5 billion idea announced the scrapping of plans less than 3 months after the deal was supposedly done. The ABC reports Altus Property Group chief executive and founder David Young said the Trump organization had pulled out, but he still hoped a tower would be built on the site. Now, viewers of McKnight Tonight might remember I told you this would happen. I said this tower would never be built. Don't believe me? Let's roll all the way back to March and see exactly what I said. We all know this is never going to be built, right? Right? You know this is never going to happen. And we know it's not that high, but I'll get to that. Because you might think it's a good investment to spend $20,000 of ratepayers' money for Tom Tate to visit Trump, but it's all just a PR stunt. And nothing they say can be trusted. In fact, Eric Trump posted on Instagram that this will soon be the tallest building in Australia. That is simply not true. What's also not true from the artwork that's been done, and you saw it in that 7 News report, it's not on the beach. It's got a road in between it. Meanwhile, Tom Tate's having a laugh. He's spending $20,000 to go and visit Trump and have dinner with the president. Lucky him. All at ratepayers' expense for a tower that is never going to be built. It is never going to see the light of... I've ignored this story for so long, but when I saw that report, I just had to call it out. Hashtag McKnight was right. I can't believe anyone ever thought this could happen. And the media lapped it up. Tom Tate, the Gold Coast mayor, spent money going to Trump because he thought it would be a good investment. And if they invested in the Gold Coast, it would be good for the Gold Coast, which is probably right. It might have been, but it was never going to happen. The Trumps don't use their own money. The Trumps use everybody else's money. The idea that Trumps were going to build a tower and that this developer, sorry, you're living a pipe dream. If you ever thought the Trumps were going to fork out money, no, they'd probably charge you for the right to use his name on the tower. But it became part of the media cycle. They all ran with it and it never happened, like it was never going to happen. The one thing I will say, though, is it didn't happen a lot sooner than I thought it wouldn't happen. But at the end of the day, there's only one lesson we can take. McKnight is always right. You can show your support for the show by buying me a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/McKnight Tonight. Every bit helps keep this show from our garage going.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.
You realise that's a hashtag, right? Everyone knows that's the hashtag. Because I'm cool, I'm hip, you know. All right. I know you missed it on Monday, but it's rant time. A serious one tonight. I am sick of my kids not being able to go outside the house without being attacked by a dog. We've lived here for 6 to 7 years now, and this is the second time I've had a daughter go across to the park, literally across the road, and be attacked by a dog. This happened last week while we were off. My daughter takes Sansa, Jasmine's little dog, out. And when I say my daughter, I'm talking about Eloise, who's 16 years old. She's not like a 5-year-old, but she's out there. She's walking the dog, and the stray dog's near her. And she's looking for the owner, and a lady across the street yells, "It's a stray." So Eloise smartly picks up the dog as it's coming for her, and it's jumping up, trying to attack our dog. Now, there was no harm to Sansa, although Sansa did freak out and did that smell that dogs do. But Ellie was traumatized. It was really, really scary. And she ended up yelling out, "Can somebody help me, please?" And to the community credit, people, I was in the house, I didn't hear any of this. But people in the community, they came out running. One guy who has no leg didn't get in his wheelchair. He literally hopped out of the house. I'm not even joking. He hopped on his one good leg out to come and help her. And they helped her get home. And she was really, really scared. And I'm just sick of the situation where people don't keep their dogs inside. And the thing is, when the neighbours called animal control, and animal control came, and the neighbours had the dog in a leash, and it was fine. It was calm. But here's the problem. When your dog gets out, you don't know what it's going to do. And look, it happens from time to time, but apparently this isn't the first time this dog has been out. Once you can forgive, twice is unacceptable. My daughter is really was so scared, and I am so sick of it. People have to take responsibility for their pets. If you can't, you don't deserve to have one. Think about the community. It's not just about you and your dog. We are a part of a larger community. A 16-year-old girl should not be scared to go across the park in broad daylight in the middle of the day to walk her dog. That's when we've crossed a line. That's Rob's rant. Okay. I'd be like that gay dad. You come after me and my family, Robbie gets angry. All right. Normie Rowe's coming up. I'm sure that'll be a fun chat. He's doing some touring, but we'll talk to him about a whole range of subjects. And I'll do another joke for our back-end quickie tonight, so stick around for that. I'm sure I'll make Amanda laugh. You made me laugh. And I'll get to your feedback. Cannot wait to see the viewers who've commented for the first time. Don't let Robbie down. Get your comments in now so that I know that you're there. All that and more right after our random live shot of the day.
It's the random live shot of the day. Where are you going today? You'll never know where you'll end up with the random live shot of the day.
Yes, it is time for our random live shot of the day, and tonight we're pointing the camera at Boston, Massachusetts, courtesy of a weather cam sitting on top of the Museum of Science. That's the Charles River Basin you can see down below, and the Green Line, Boston's oldest subway line, running right through the middle of it all. It is mid-morning in Boston right now. In fact, it is 6:17 right now, and it looks about as cheerful as you'd expect for a Wednesday morning, because right now it's 13 degrees, despite a temperature range of 9 to 17. It's already hit 13, with winds gusting to around 60 kilometres an hour out of the northwest. The locals call that a nice spring day. The rest of us call it a reason to stay inside. Boston, thanks for letting us drop in. Beautiful, isn't it? I was really pleased to see that one, and it's great because in America we're now getting to the point in the year where it's summer over there, so we can take some shots that aren't dark. So that's the beauty of the random live shot of the day. We get to see all around the world. Let's have a look at some feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight. Jeanette says, good evening, Rob, Amanda and Jazz. Greetings from Kent, UK. Oh, Jeanette, we're all looking forward to you getting back, but nice that you are tuning in from the UK. I hope you've been catching up with family while you've been doing your trip, with sad news because of the death of your mum, but glad that you still managed to tune in. Own Your Crazy says, put Rob's face on your undies. Who needs contraception? I'll give it. It was funny. Beck says, don't people realise, this is on this very serious issue where the gay men were verbally attacked and then hit back physically. Don't people realise that homosexual men are more likely to be harmed? That's very true, Beck. Thank you for that. We've got this one from Jeanette. I can't believe they asked that question about sexually abusing their child. I know. It is so bad. So bad. Mindy Doolan says, disgusting. He deserved that punch. Inappropriate. Couldn't agree more, Mindy. Thanks for chiming in tonight. Appreciate it. Got this one from Rick M 2025. Thank you, Rob, for saying this. I wish more people thought this way. I stand with those men. Those pranksters are terrible, disgusting people. I'm so thankful to live in Australia. I think Ricky's done a comment before. But we still appreciate becoming a bit more part of the show, Ricky, so thank you. Own Your Crazy says, this is Trump's America, people, where diversity is a sin. Got this one from James McAllister. Hi, everyone, I'm McKnight Tonight from WA. James! Hang on. Cheers, James! I know. That's why it's under the table. I don't have a drink every night, just letting you know. I'm not an alcoholic. Jeanette says, McKnight is always right. Don't you know it, Jeanette? Thank you very much. Beck says, I think it's actually Amanda is always right. What did Amanda say? I literally predicted the future. I am like a psychic medium.
But I told you about it.
Matthew says, it's not hashtags, it's Octothorpe. I knew it was a pound symbol, but Octothorpe? I'm going to have to look into that one. James McAllister says, well said, Rob. My brother's dog was attacked by a stray dog. People need to take responsibility for their animals. You are absolutely right, James. Thank you very much. We've got this one from Andy who says, I'm with you on this one. Near my mum's place, one of her neighbour's dog is always out and it has attacked her small dog. Absolutely. It's just so annoying. Matthew agrees. He says, that sounds scary. It certainly was. My daughter was terrified. Beck says, hey, Rob, all of us get angry. Just so you know, you have an army of people, an army of angry people. The McAngers. The McAngers. McAngers? All right. Plenty ahead in this edition of McKnight Tonight. Normie Rowe's just ahead. I've got some feedback, more feedback to get to. And what will our dad joke of the day be in our back-end quickie? All that and more to be revealed in your Wednesday night edition of McKnight Tonight.
McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. McKnight Tonight. Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Well, there's no doubt tonight's guest is an Australian treasure and the consummate entertainer. Normie Rowe has long been regarded as one of Australia's most recognised and successful singers in a long and illustrious career that spans back to his teens in the early 60s. And he's still going strong, touring around the country. In fact, he's about to do shows across Queensland, so that seemed like the perfect excuse to get him on to have a chat. Normie Rowe, welcome to McKnight Tonight.
Well, thanks very much. It's a great pleasure. I don't think I've ever done one of these before.
You haven't. You're a McKnight Tonight virgin, but I'll go gently. Normie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you moved up to Queensland a few years ago, didn't you? Do you feel like a Queenslander yet?
No, I feel like an Australian. I think from the time that I started travelling around outside of Melbourne metropolitan area, which I did around about 1963 with a friend, Bobby Shaw, in his Volkswagen Beetle. We drove from Melbourne to Brisbane, and we thought it'd be good to maybe have a glass of beer on every pub on the way through, and we overnighted in Seymour, about 60 miles out of Melbourne. That wasn't a good plan, so we shelved that and kept going. But ever since then, I realised that it seemed a bit silly to limit myself to one suburb, town, city, state, whatever. I just felt, especially after the Playboys and my records started to take off nationally, that I felt like an Australian, and I had credence wherever we went, which was just a wonderful, marvellous thing.
It's a lovely answer, actually. I really like that. I moved up to Queensland in 2019. I'm on the Gold Coast, but they say you're never a real Queenslander unless you've lived here your whole life. But I liked your answer. Now, am I right, again, that you moved up here so you could be with your wife, Samantha, because she's a chef, right? And she moved up here for work?
Well, not exactly the way it happened. I moved up 26 years ago. I hadn't even met her at that stage. Her dad was very well known in Victoria as a car dealer and a very benevolent supporter of the performing arts. There she is there, Sammy. Her dad was Kevin Dennis, Update Your Car with Kevin Dennis, and he also promoted or was the advertising guru behind Bert Newton's New Faces. So she's been, her best friend is Vicar Ball, Vicar and Linda Ball.
Yep.
And she knows more people in show business than I know, but she is a chef, and we actually met 10 years ago. So I've got to say that I already had the Queensland or the Gold Coast T-shirt. Don't rip me off, I'm a local.
I love that. And Normie, I've got to say, you're looking pretty good. Is that because of the good cooking your wife does?
Oh, look, she's a gem, and her whole bent, and she is a master chef. She has her masters in gastronomy from the Cordon Bleu School in Paris, and pardon me, she her whole bent is that if you eat good food, prepared properly and cooked properly, then you will live a much healthier life. And she wrote a book. She's written about 5 different books, but one in particular called Food as Medicine. And that's finally gone out of print, I think, now after all these years. I don't know how many editions she's had, but it's been a very successful thing for her.
No, that's awesome. You know, and I owe you a carton of beer because I didn't turn off my phone. And that is the old television adage that if you don't mute your phone, you owe a slab of beer to the people you're with. So that's fun for me. You've had your health challenges. I was wondering whether you still experience moments when post-traumatic stress flares up again.
Yes, but fortunately, I had some wonderful professional help, which I highly recommend to anybody going through a tough time, whether it is PTSD or one of the major contributors of your feelings of helplessness. And I have strategies that I can deal with. One of them in particular, I lost my daughter a couple of years ago, and it really that was my second child that I've lost, and it really brought up so many other emotions about my family losses and all that sort of thing, as well as losing Erin. And it really started to get to me, and I didn't want to hide it or anything. So the first thing I did, I said to myself, I'm going to take my own advice, the advice that I give to other vets. First thing you do is ring Open Arms, which used to be the Vietnam Veterans Counselling Service, and it became the Veterans Counselling Service, then it became the Veterans and Family Counselling Service. Now it's called Open Arms, and I highly recommend. They may not have the answer immediately, but they will get it for you so quickly. And I got to see a counsellor fairly soon, and he helped rejig my thoughts, and I thought, yeah, okay, now I know what's going on, and I could get on with it. So it was it's a very important life lesson to know that when you're starting to feel that you're having trouble coping, then it's time to seek professional help.
I love that you've done that, and I'm glad you got the help you need. And of course, you had a trigger with the tragic death of your daughter, but it all stems back to Vietnam, doesn't it, when you went over there?
Absolutely, it does, yes. And what a lot of people don't understand, it doesn't necessarily have to be one traumatic event. It can be a lot of events over a long period of time. And war-related PTSD can quite often, in fact, almost invariably mean that you've been in a life and death situation for a period longer than 3 months. And you might sustain some PTSD longer than 6 months, you will. After that, you'll definitely keep it for the rest of your life. And you have to be aware of the stressors that indicate that you're heading into a period of time where you might need some help.
It's interesting you say that, and I'm interested in how it manifests because I remember speaking to someone who did an interview with you once, and she was telling me that you insisted on sitting with your back to a wall. Is that part of it?
Absolutely. I think the first meeting I had with a psychologist, he said to me, he was a South African and he'd treated PTSD before with the South African Army because they had been in a war situation for 10 years in Angola. And he said to me, do you always sit in that chair? And I said, Doctor, I'd never been in this room. And he said, no, this is the chair that I call the Vietnam Veterans Chair. And I said, I think I know why. And he said, well, tell me. And I said, because I've got my back against the wall. I can see all the doors and windows, and I know I've already worked out how to get out of here quickly.
That's
And
amazing.
but I don't need to do that anymore. Although sitting here in Alan Caswell's music writing room right now, I'm looking at the window over behind you, and there's a wall right behind me. So perhaps it's still there with me.
Maybe to some extent. You know, it's interesting that when you came back, there wasn't really help for veterans when they came back from war with PTSD and things like that. Do you think today's soldiers are given the support they need, or is it still downplayed by the Australian Defence Force?
I think I highly doubt that many officers carry a lot of PTSD around. You know, quite a lot of them, unless they were like Sir Peter Cosgrove, who was a frontline officer. I don't think many of them quite understand what it's all about. It's a great shame. And in fact, I overheard a very high-ranking Army or Defence Force medico talking about PTS, and it was clear to me he knew nothing about it. And which was a great shame, because he's the guy with holding the reins and should be driving the horse down the road to help with not just the diggers that have gone on, or any of the ADF personnel, male, female, who've gone on, but the people they've got serving for them right now. People who judge without being in that situation themselves, of especially being in a war zone, should never judge those who have on their own concepts of the way life should be. I know that I saw things, was involved in things, and perhaps even did things that I would never have done had I not been in a war.
Mm.
And I'm just saying, basically, if you haven't been there, stop judging.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Ben Roberts-Smith is obviously in the news. He has been arrested and charged with war crimes. I spoke to Heston Russell on this show just after it happened, and he was very defensive of Ben Roberts-Smith. And it's interesting, what I realised, and the commentary I've had, is that I've never served. I don't know what it's like. And hearing from veterans and their reaction, a lot of veterans are getting behind Ben Roberts-Smith, and they're saying, you don't know what it's like to be out there on the front line when people want to kill you. What are your thoughts about Ben Roberts-Smith and whether we should be charging him with war crimes?
Well, there are a number of things. Why weren't the war brides who came back from the Middle East just recently paraded in the same way that Ben Roberts-Smith was paraded when he got off the plane from Western Australia into the eastern states? Why was that?
That's an interesting point.
What, and by the same police and the same officials that he was paraded. The whole thing looks like a huge sham for me, and I agree totally in just about everything with Heston Russell. He is a good man. He's a very intelligent young ex-serviceman, and had been there and done that. Whatever it took to be an excellent Australian representative of the armed forces. And it goes to show how far some of these people who want to make a name for themselves in the press by being so-called journalists, how far they'll go just to ingratiate themselves with I don't know, their bosses or some members of the public. But if you don't want people to do something they wouldn't do in civilian street, don't put them in the army and don't give them a gun. End of story. You know, sometimes I just wonder what would happen if we were invaded all of a sudden, how cowardly these people would behave. And I know that they wouldn't be running towards danger.
Which we rely on these people who go overseas to do. They run towards the danger. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. Let's get to the good news, because you have a new show. It's called Normie, The Story So Far. What is this show about? What are you doing?
Well, it's largely a chronology where we slide into the picture frame all of the songs. The Playboys and I had 11 top 10 records in the 60s. There have been a number of very successful things for me over the years, you know, my period of time with Les Miserables.
I forgot about that. You've done so much.
There was a period of time where I became what I called it at the moment of reflecting. And there,
what happened there?
There was Alan Caswell's phone.
Oh, it was beeping. So now he owes me a case. Oh, fabulous! It works both ways.
This is a beer go round. By the way,
you're at Alan's place. Sorry, you're at Alan's place.
In case you want to know. Sorry?
Oh, sorry. It's the delay. But you're at Alan's place and you're writing new music with him.
Yes, that's right. We came across a subject that he thought was very interesting, and it actually, I thought that my time about writing and recording songs that paid homage to my time with the armed forces was over, and I did it about 25 years ago. But I just happened to mention that just of recent years that we didn't do it so much for the country or for ourselves. We were much more invested in making sure that our mates got home. And ever since then, for me, being involved in ex-service or issues, it's always just been about the mates who don't have a platform on which to stand to make their point. And I've never asked, I don't carry an office with the RSL or any of the other ex-service organisations. I just want to be able to say it the way I see it, and the way that people who are either my mates or like my mates see the way that a lot of this stuff goes. You see, when in the first 2 years of returning from Vietnam, we lost nearly 10% of all Vietnam veterans. That's 5,000 to suicide or single occupant car crashes, i.e. suicide. And so something or someone had to be a voice for them. And I just happened to be able to say what diggers in general, male and female, in general, were thinking themselves, you know.
And is that why you're writing more music now?
Yeah. So we didn't do it necessarily for the country or for ourselves. We did it for each other. We're still doing it for each other to try and make sure that the justice in all of this takes place. So I guess that's when
is that
you
the
look
lyrics?
At
is that a sneak preview?
Some of them may sneak here. They might just dribble in somewhere along the line. But I can tell you, Alan's written over 900 recorded songs. So I think he'll have a bit more to do with it. Mind you, I've recorded over 300 songs, so I know what a song sounds like, but I've only ever written 3 myself.
Right. Well, you've got a good track record. Let's take a look at some of your upcoming show dates, because on Thursday, the 11th of June at 2:30 p.m, you're at the Maryborough Brolga Theatre. You can do bookings on 41226060. Friday, the 12th of June at 2 p.m, you're at Bundaberg. And then you can do bookings on 41304100. On Saturday, the 13th of June, my birthday, you're at the Gladstone Entertainment and Convention Centre. You can do bookings on 0749722822. And on Sunday, the 14th of June at 2:30 p.m, you're in Rockhampton. And you can do bookings on 0749274111. What are you looking forward to most about these shows, Normie?
Well, one of the things I enjoy most of all is taking my original drummer from the Playboys on the road with me. He is now 84. He's a maniac, and I've become the second. I've become the second banana in my own show, and his name's Graham Trotman, or we call him Trotter. We're worried more about when we're on the road, somebody coming up and saying, "I think you're my dad."
Yeah.
That's one of the
I bet.
But after we've done these 4 shows, we're looking at going further north later on in the year. We're also going to Tassie. We're doing. I'm pretty sure we're doing Hobart, and I'm pretty sure we're going into Launceston if the Albert Theatre has finished its renovations. We're going to South Australia. We'll be over in WA, and also we're coming back to Twin Towns on the Goldie on Father's Day, which we did last year. And it was a monster success, so we're looking forward to returning there as well. But here is the thing that you don't know, is that, and I didn't know until Monday of last week, that I have a new single released, which was released on Monday. It's a duet that I recorded with Johnny Chester about 3 or 4 years ago, and we're waiting on all the mixes and the mastering and everything like that to be done in London. It was released. It's a fantastic, beautiful song, very serious. It's called, you ready for it?
Yeah.
We're Only Here for the Beer.
We're only here for the beer. All right, I'll get on Spotify. I'll have a look at that one. And look, if you do want to know, we've got lots of viewers in WA. So for more information about Normie's tours, make sure you go to normierowe.com. Nice and simple, normierowe.com. Normie, you're an absolute delight. Next time you come on the show, and there will be a next time, we're talking about the stories of why people think there might be your dad. So we'll
Not me. Not me. I was a goody two-shoes.
Yeah, right. I'll get the stories out of you. Good on you, Normie. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
The best place to watch McKnight Tonight is on YouTube. Help us monetize the show by going to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight. And you can always become a paid member. That gives you exclusive live streams and early access to videos. Just go to youtube.com/@McKnight Tonight.
Here comes McKnight Tonight.
Well, it may be Wednesday, but grab your drink if you've got them, because it's time to settle back, because we're going to have a back-end quickie.
It's time for a back-end quickie.
And this week I'm doing something a little bit different. Instead of showing videos, I'm doing some good old dad jokes. And I've pulled up 4 because they're real quick. So there's a back-end quickie, but this is too quick. So why did that tickle your fancy? Why do crabs never volunteer? Because they're selfish. Because they're selfish. Shellfish. The Late Show had champagne comedy. I've got wino comedy. All right. I had a quiet game of tennis today, There was no racket. No? What's a shark's favourite saying? Man overboard! Because they can eat him.
Yeah.
Man overboard.
Yeah, no.
What's a shark's favourite saying? No? Okay. Let's hope we can go out with a bang. What did one slice of bread say to the other before the race? You're toast. What did one slice of bread say to the other before the race? You're toast.
I prefer the videos.
No, you know what? No, I am loving the jokes. I don't think I can be dissuaded from doing the jokes. I'm loving the
Videos tomorrow.
Sorry?
Video tomorrow.
All right, let's take a look at some feedback coming through to McKnight Tonight before we wrap up. We've got this one from Hoggy who says, oh, we're drinking tonight, are we? Nice. Back in a sec. Yes, indeed. We got this one from Mum. Where's my donut? Meant to be on camera too, Amanda, but... How much have you had to drink? Mum, I don't get it. Where's my donut? Okay. And You're Crazy says, I rendered Rob speechless. Yes, a very difficult thing to do, although Mum just did it, so you're not alone there. Andy says, I have never witnessed the amount of hate towards the LGBT community as we're seeing now, and it's all because people have had enough of the TQA plus activists. Oh, that's an interesting... Sorry, Jazz. I'm going to get you to go back because I want to dissect that. This is a really interesting comment because we usually, and I almost said it, LGBTQ plus A plus, and Andy is saying that LGBT community, which fought for all the rights and has a long history, believes, and I think I'm reading you right here, Andy, is because it's the TQA community, which includes trans activists, of course, that's creating a backlash. I think that's a really interesting take, Andy. Thank you for that. Got this one from Mum. Yahoo, Normie. Well, at least that makes more sense than the donuts comment. I mean, I think maybe because last time she was up here, we had the Krispy Kreme opened. No? All right. Huggy says this show keeps getting better and better. Yeah, I think the wheels have fallen off just in the last segment. To be honest with you, Huggy, I think the wheels have fallen off. And You're Crazy says McDonald's are consulting lawyers. McAngers versus McAngers. Beck says that tickled my fancy. I think it's really important that people discuss Normie Rowe's age. Discuss this. People of Normie Rowe's age discuss this. I think he's turning 80 this year, actually. Yeah, good point, Beck. Well made. Jeanette says that's so true. You can't comment about the war if you have lived with or was. You can only comment about the war if you have lived through it or was involved with it, or vice versa. You can't comment if you weren't involved with it. Mindy Doolan says nothing cowardly about admitting we need help. Very good point. Thank you, Mindy. Appreciate your feedback. Andy says, my sister's partner has PTSD from a traumatic experience. It's heartbreaking to see how debilitating it can be. And unless you've lived through it, it's hard to truly understand. We've got this one from Jeanette. That's awful how many people we lost. Glad there is a voice for them. Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate that. And finally, Justine says, that was a fabulous interview, Rob. Thank you, Justine. Really appreciate it. All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of McKnight Tonight. And tomorrow, I know I've got someone good. Oh, it's James Blundell tomorrow. We've got James Blundell tomorrow. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, so James Blundell will join us. And I've got psychic medium Sean Collins. It's a twofer. You get 2 for 1 show. So join us tomorrow as we have Tipsy Thursday right here on McKnight Tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, gang. Cheers.
Fun, insightful interviews. watch the producer with nothing to lose.